AI and journalism. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining me is Dan Shelley, President and CEO of the Radio and Television Digital News Association. Hi, Dan.
Good morning, Fred.
Good morning. Well, give our audience a bit of background, first of all.
Well, the RTDNA was founded in 1946 by a group of World War II era war correspondents. It was all radio back then, of course, who wanted to establish a set of standards and agreed upon principles. Prior to World War II, largely radio news was rip and read out of a newspaper or off of a wire service. But World War II proved that radio as a medium could be a vital source and the premier source at the time of news and information, reported and broadcast originally and independently from what others were reporting. So fast forward to the 1950s, we became the Radio Television News Directors Association, and then the 2000s, the Radio Television Digital News Association. And very briefly, we have three main missions. One is to recognize outstanding responsible journalism through the Edward R. Murrow Awards, which we administer along with others. Number two is to do advocacy work on behalf of press freedom, particularly the public's need to know what independent, fierce journalism can tell them about their communities and the nation and the world. And number three is to provide continuous education opportunities for journalists at all levels of their careers. And for decades now, we've also produced a code of ethics and several accompanying ethical guidelines to help journalists make decisions on issues that involve ethical concerns that could affect reporting and what the public is able to consume from radio, television, and now digital news outlets.
And so now the age of AI is upon us, seemingly everywhere, but just getting started, I suppose, in reality. Tell me about the impact on journalism so far and the issues that you're concerned about.
Well, we have just released a coverage guideline document that advises radio, television, digital newsrooms, all newsrooms for that matter, on some of the things they should consider when considering the use of artificial intelligence in their work product, in the journalism that they present to the public. Broadly speaking, these are not prescriptive. They just pose a series of issues and questions that help journalists reach their own conclusions about the proper use of AI, if they believe there is a proper use of AI. But first and foremost, we believe in terms of artificial intelligence that while it does have a place, a couple of places, 2-3 places where it might be appropriate in journalism, in no instance do we believe is it appropriate for use in journalism without a human touch, without a human being involved in the process to ensure accuracy, to ensure the right to privacy for vulnerable individuals, and a whole host of other issues that still require a human being to make considerations that a machine or a computer in this case might not be able to make.
Do you liken this at all to the reliance some may have had on things like Wikipedia and looking things up online in haste to put a story together?
Well, I hope journalists are not relying on Wikipedia as their main source of information for any story. While I use Wikipedia quite a bit myself, it's for general information purposes. Wikipedia may not always be accurate because the content on Wikipedia is provided by parties that are policed to some degree from an accuracy perspective, but there's no issue that or no guarantee that it's 100% accurate, and there may be facts left out, etc. So in a way, yes. Artificial intelligence and the software, the technology behind it is rapidly advancing and can do amazing things that are extremely lifelike, but there is no substitute for a human being actually doing some independent reporting, actually looking over content that may be generated by AI to make sure that it respects the right to privacy, to make as humanly possible, as possible, that it is accurate, et cetera.
So I'm getting a little bit that there might be concerns about cost cutting, media companies turning to AI to create content, leaving sometimes the real reporters out of the equation.
Well, there are some in the conversation in our industry, not necessarily people in the position, in a position where they're able to make decisions such as you've just described. But there are observers of our industry who do see this as a potential for cost cutting and reducing headcounts and things of that nature. We think that would be an inappropriate use of AI, because you need human being journalists to make decisions that AI software may not be able to make with regard to, again, right to privacy, with regard to accuracy of information. AI is evolving rapidly. The coverage guidelines that we have just issued, that will be an evolving document that will change frequently as AI continues to develop and become better. And we're not the only industry or the only segment of the population that's struggling with this. Academia, this is a huge issue, as you know, in academia, and students using it to do homework and write term papers and things of that nature. So we just want to make sure that human beings, journalists, are involved in the process, even though we acknowledge, recognize, and think it's a good thing, generally speaking, that there are roles AI can play to make journalism better overall.
What would some of the guidelines be?
Well, first of all, truth and accuracy above all else. That is in our code of ethics. That is in that's the root of every coverage guideline, and we have well more than 20 of them posted on our website, RTDNA.org. Truth and accuracy above all else. Secondly, there are considerations about people's right to privacy. There are considerations over a number of other issues: accuracy, context, clarity, also transparency and disclosure. We believe that journalists have an obligation, if they use AI as part of their journalism product, as part of what they're presenting to the public as journalism, we believe journalists have an obligation to disclose that to their audience and the extent to which AI has been used in the production of a news story.
Even something simple like putting a script in or a story in and having the AI take a look at it for accuracy in place of what might be an editor?
Well, I think at this point, generally speaking, I think AI can be a good tool for things like copy editing, for things like headline writing for a station or a news outlet's website. But in terms of the guts, if you will, the real meat of a journalistic story, news story, human beings must be the primary gatherer and writer of that information.
What are your concerns about this being used, because so much information is disseminated today through social media, that this technology could be used to spread even more inaccurate information to the public?
One of the biggest threats to our way of life, and I'm not overstating it when I say this, is disinformation and misinformation. Disinformation, of course, being the knowing and intentional spread of false information for one reason or another. Misinformation is the unwitting spread of false information simply because it shows up in your social media feed and you share it with all of your friends or followers. Then you are spreading misinformation because it's wrong, but you didn't realize it was wrong when you shared it. So yeah, I am concerned that AI can produce disinformation and misinformation, and it can be distributed on steroids to far too many people. Disinformation, misinformation are two of the biggest threats to society right now, and have been over the last several years. In some parts of the world, it's led to violence, it's led to murders, it's led to in political discourse and news coverage. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen in the United States. We don't want it to happen anywhere, but certainly we don't want that to happen in the United States. And the extent to which AI can spread disinformation on steroids, that's very concerning to us, yes.
Words are one thing, and then there are the issues surrounding voice cloning and image manipulation that can be very hard to detect.
Yeah, that's very troubling. And there are already companies, as you may know, that are offering voices and AI generated news anchors to radio stations across the country and in other countries around the world. And the jury is still out on whether that's an appropriate use of AI. But one thing is for certain, as far as we're concerned, and that is that if artificial intelligence is used to generate a voice, if it is used to generate any content whatsoever of a news nature, that must be disclosed to the public. And there still has to be a human overseeing the content and overseeing what this voice or this image is purporting to say, to ensure as best as possible that it's accurate, it protects the right to privacy, etc.
A lot of food for thought. As you said, Dan, there's a place people can go to for more information on these guidelines, right?
RTDNA.org, and then look for our ethics section of the website. And you can find all of our coverage guidelines, our code of ethics, they're all there.
Well, congratulations on taking this on. Dan Shelley, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much, Fred.